Let's talk running back.
All right. So we both like Jalen Hurts, but I almost question whether or not it should just be a Barkley game.
Again, I hate to keep overusing it, but that's to me just like a very easy question to answer via game theory. Saquon's like 4% owned or 6% owned, sure, because even with the vulturing, you don't vulture from the 40, and Saquon can do that. He almost did it multiple times in that game. But I think we see that, all in all, Saquon doesn't have the ceiling because his touchdown equity is just mitigated relative to what it should be.
Yeah, it's true. Which is funny because he still has 6 touchdowns in 7 games.
That's what I mean. That it's ironic almost. Maybe that's not the right word, but like it shows that Saquon can still score. He's just you need home run plays.
Yep, you're right. And he's had a couple at the goal line, but Jalen Hurts has 7 rushing touchdowns this year.
Yeah, and I don't know this, but I would venture that maybe all of them are only 1 yard.
I think almost all of them, if not all of them, are. Yeah.
There
Yep.
you go.
So yeah, that's a great call though by you. It's Tuesday, so we don't even need to dive deep into it. But if Saquon Barkley ends up being the guy that just no one's paying for on this team, but AJ Brown, justifiably, Devonta Smith, Jalen Hurts, like these guys end up being a chalk stack, Barkley might be one of the best pivots at that spot.
Exactly.
You could just see like a 25 carry game from Barkley.
Absolutely. And with that is 25 chances to hit a home run.
Yep. And you know what? He might also be lower owned than we're talking about because you have Kyron Williams, who's just gets a monstrous amount of opportunities. But Alvin Kamara, I mean, what is the ownership going to look like on Alvin Kamara? That Saints team, as bad as they've been, I don't care that they're getting Derek Carr back this week. As bad as they've been. Oh, here's a good one. What's the spread on this game? Saints Carolina.
I'd say Saints -3.5.
-7. And
Yeah,
that's
I
what
don't
I'm
agree with
saying.
that either.
That's what I'm saying. I know Carolina's terrible. As Sean Payton would say, that's not a good offense they're about to face.
Yeah.
But 7-point road favorites for how bad this team has been.
Remember when New Orleans threw 2 weeks where it was like, holy shit, are they the best team in the league?
Now they've
No,
lost 6 straight?
no, they're not the best team in the league. Yeah, Kamara, that'll be interesting because he had some flashes of it in terms of what you want to see, which is he had 11 targets in week 8. That's what I'm talking about, But
I would say at the end of the day, I would say at the end of the day, up here, he's still going to be the chalkiest for sure.
yeah, I like Bijan.
Yeah, against
Yeah,
Dallas.
yeah.
Do you like Kenneth Walker this week?
Yeah, I mean, in my deranged mind, he's going to be in a positive game script, but uh, his prices come up. There's no doubt about it. But I prefer Bijan, but yeah, he's definitely playable. Trying to
Right
pull
now,
up the
just
data over here.
like ownership agnostic, I think it's still Alvin Kamara for me. And I'm going to tell you another reason why.
Hmm.
Uh, for what is Kendre Miller's physical body composed of?
Yeah, he's got some injuries.
He's hurt again.
Yeah, I know.
What is he made out of?
I don't know. They got to do like the RoboCop. You ever see RoboCop?
Sure.
Okay. I don't know. I asked someone else that the other day. We're like, I've never seen that.
But it's crazy. The guy's always hurt. It doesn't matter. He's always hurt. No wonder Dennis Allen isn't a huge fan of this guy. So if you assume that with a hamstring injury, my guess, I would assume you agree with me that he doesn't play.
No.
Hamstring injuries, usually the next week, even if you tweak it, you're not playing. It's like, all right, fine, Jamal Williams, but you would just think that again, Alvin Kamara gets a massive workload.
Hard agree. Totally with you. I'm telling you though, Bijan, this guy can't catch a break. He's playing really well. He had another 35-yard touchdown last week called back for holding. Man, I'm really high on him. I think he's still undervalued. Maybe James Cook. Millie winner had James Cook last week, which I never would have come up with, and he had a huge explosive output.
Tokyo Swan. To be fair, Saints lost Shaheed and basically half the starting O-line. Yeah, but they were already falling off before any of the injuries. They were already falling off. And every team faces a number of significant injuries. Recently, the Saints' injuries have been worse, but they've
Saints
also
are a
been,
mess.
what's that?
They're just a mess. Yeah.
Right. Recently, you could argue they've been way worse. They're also just getting blown out, though, and the defense has been terrible. So, yeah, I can't say there's a whole lot that I like there. Alvin Kamara for me up top, but it is really a pretty nice tier. I mean, from Barkley, if you wanted to Kyron Williams, who's just always going to get 20 plus touches every week,
Yep.
to Alvin Kamara, to Bijan, Kenneth Walker. You know, the only other one I was wondering about was James Cook. I know he's coming off a great game, but there's still part of me that just looks at the rest of some of these guys and goes, I don't know if the volume adds up. And I feel that way sometimes with Bijan because he was involved, obviously, last week, as he always is, but you still had Tyler Algier get 11 carries in that game.
Yeah. Listen, it's a not the most secure volume, but I think Bijan is just so hyper efficient, electric. He can catch the ball. I'm content with it. I just
12 carries.
what?
I was saying 12 carries for Algier is more than I
Yeah, no,
thought.
that's scary. There's no doubt. I don't know what to do with James Cook. You mentioned it. Huge week last week. As I mentioned, like I said, he was on the Millie winner because he was like 2% owned. I don't think I'm there. I'm always confused with them because Josh Allen, even though it didn't happen last week, he will take it around the goal line. He
Are you
can.
gonna bury the lead on the Millie winner?
I was trying to tee you up to tee me up because not only did a stochastic avatar win the Millie, which is great. Everyone's really happy about that. But let's not bury the real lead. I predicted that was going to happen on the show on Sunday. It's on tape. You can see it. I said a stochastic avatar will win the Millie, and then that actually happened. And I got everybody. You can all thank me for code MIL, by the way. That was a product of me predicting that.
Dude, you nailed it.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
The only part I got wrong was the part that matters. I said, hopefully it's me. Wasn't me. But the rest was awesome.
You nailed it. I love to see it. It was great.
I mean, how sick is that, honestly, though? Well, all jokes aside, like someone watched our show on Sunday. They're a user of our Sims. They built their lineups and they won $1 million.
Yeah. And also credit to me for rewinding that back and making us redo it so we could get a really good clip.
That was smart. That was smart.
You know what was crazy? Like we see a lot of Millie lineups that you and I'll go, wow, I never could have gotten there. There were so many people like that were just super butthurt that all they want to do is be angry in the comments when they looked at this lineup. And I'm not saying this just because he's a stochastic sub. I'm dead serious. I looked at it and I go, oh, dirt cheap naked Bo Nix actually makes sense in this game. With an attachment on the run back, a secondary stack, mini secondary stack with that Tampa and Atlanta game with K. Dotton and was it Bijan?
Yeah.
James Cook. So you're getting away from some of the chalk. And then there were people going, why, how did you get the Lad McConkey? Totally get the Lad McConkey.
I got
play.
the Lad.
So did I. I had a lot of them, just not in any Millie winning lineups. But Quentin Johnston was out. They were facing a terrible defense. He's technically the wide receiver one. I totally get it. I thought it was look, was it a lineup that I ended up on that type? Like, no, but I will say I went back and looked at my lineups. I had some naked Bo Nix lineups. I had a few Nix lineups that were just Bo Nix. So shout out to Rick. It's incredible, man. And you know, $1 million
like a good dude too, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what else was cool? When we asked him, I saw somebody asked him what his process was. He was saying he actually uses the boom bust tool. We've had so many people he uses our boom bust tool and kind of generates a lot of his feelings and thoughts from that based all around the data, and then goes in and makes some adjustments in the Sims.
That's my favorite thing is hearing the little wrinkles of like, what do you know, what tweaks do you make? And that doesn't mean, that's the only way to do it. Far from it, but it was very cool. Obviously it was exciting and we're celebrating. I do want to ask you, I'll put you on the spot a little bit.
hold on. Though that people are saying it was a hand built lineup. That was not a hand built lineup.
No, he put 150 in.
Yeah, definitely not a hand built lineup. He made some adjustments and massaged the Sims to his liking. That was not a hand built lineup. Anyway, go ahead.
Uh, you alluded to this during the, like, if someone ever what can we, I genuinely want to know this. Maybe we can't announce it. Like, what happens for that? What tier? What do you win, the plutonium
Well,
tier?
it's the platinum tier. So you get the ring, you get a free year of Sims All Access, which is like an insane value, but also a little special something that we have cooking up right now. I'm not gonna tell you, but it's very cool. I don't
Yeah,
want to. I don't want to say it yet because I want to, in case Rick's watching this. You know what I mean?
that's
Like
fine.
you're gonna have people going, "Hey, you giving this guy just won $1 million? You're giving him something else." Use the avatar. You can get in with like 50 cent, 5 cent entries. You can get $200 worth of subs just for your first time. You win twice, you get another month, $200 value any sport. Plus, you get another week of any sport. And if you win 3 times, doesn't matter. As long as it's top 3 in a field of 5,000 or more, could be a 10 cent entry. You're getting Sims All Access Max for the entire month, $550 value. Ring of Honor, 20K plus wins, no matter the field size, those beautiful rings. Just go to stochastic.com/ Hall of Fame or HOF, sorry, and rock the avatar wherever it is you play. Before we close out running back, though, I do want to point it out. You mentioned the mill promo. Yes,
Yeah.
if you're looking for access to the tools, if you're looking for the Sims that just took down the 1 mil for Rick Bunting, and not only that, but the boom bust tool, the top stacks tool, ownership, single lineup Sims to make better lineups and be able to, inject some of your own thoughts. Now you can run them in factory settings if you want. I did it for Showdown the other night, had a great night. But you can adjust everything, exposure caps, number of uniques, boosts, ROI boosts, left and right, projections, ownership, all of that. The promo code MIL, you don't really need the promo code. The link in the description gets you 30% off any NFL package you want. Any NFL package you want, 30% off, whether it's a week, a month, essentials, all the way up to the Sims Max. And if you don't want to do that, Ben, you know what they could do?
What
They
could
could
they
very
do?
simply just sign up at one of our sportsbook partners and get the entirety of a core package, $99 value for free. So a lot of different ways to do it right now.
Yeah, it's just a cool time, honestly, with all the sports happening. So we wanted to make sure, realistically, Millie winners don't come across every week. It's not easy to win a tournament of that size. So we're going to celebrate it as a community.
Damn right. Like I said, use that link. That it'll auto load the promo, 30% off anything. Or just sign up at like Bet365, get $200 in bonus bets and also a free month. Or if you sign up at 5 sports books, you have 5 free months of whatever you want.
That'll
So
work too.
million different ways to get yourself in the door. Both of those links are down there. The sportsbook link, you'll see it number 1, and number 2, 30% off any package with Mill. Both of those links will get you there. Follow those simple steps, hop in, and Discord is included with every package. So make sure to say what's up and join the community. If you ever have questions, hit us up as well. We're happy to help you guys out. All right, give me in the mid tier. This is actually a spot that I really like this week. And for you, it's probably going to be like Tony Pollard.
Yeah, that's right.
Am I right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I
I'm
wanted to play him
serious.
last week, but I didn't.
Okay. So I figured it would be Tony Pollard for you. Also, good thing you didn't play him last week. He was
Yes.
fine, but he was also. How did Tony Pollard have 20 carries in a game that they lost by 38 points or whatever it was?
Just shows the volume.
I know. For me, and this is assuming he's good to go, Devon Achane. You're going to look at me and go, hey, how? Like, why? Raheem Mostert's getting work. He's getting work at the goal line. Achane's running. He ran 25 routes last game. Like, they're using him as not necessarily a wide receiver because he only lined up outside or in the slot like 6 or 7 times, but 8 targets, 10 attempts. Those targets are so valuable for a guy like Achane. It really feels like right now, outside of Raheem Mostert's, kind of ineffective rushing attempts or goal line attempts, it really feels like with Tua out there, this entire offense runs through Tyreek Hill and Devon Achane. $6,700 against the Bills, 6.5-point dogs. I love him this week.
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to push back on that. He was awesome. Miami's, I said it was kind of now or never last week, and I still agree with that. So probably just never at this point. But if it is, if they have a future, they got to win this game. So Achan's going to be busy. Can't go wrong with that upper 6K range. Pretty strong.
Yeah, I like that range up there. Josh Jacobs, you could make that argument if you wanted to against
Swift.
Detroit. What's that?
Swift.
DeAndre Swift's been excellent. What about Brian Robinson? Because Jeremy McNichols went back to really not playing. He had one attempt, only a handful of snaps. Eckler gets a lot of opportunity. He's on the field. But if this is a favorable game script, it might be also a big game for Brian Robinson.
I'm not going to say that that's impossible because it's clearly not the focal point for me. It's just, it's tough with Washington. A lot of different kind of mouths to feed. They've got a stable of backs. Daniels, I worry about the pass. You have to run hotter than you would think to get one of those guys to a ceiling at this point.
All right. So give me HN. You're going Tony Pollard. Just volume based entirely?
Just volume based. And this
Even
is
if
a
Tajay
much
Spears
better.
is back?
Yeah, I don't care about that.
Okay. Against New England, Tennessee's a 3.5 point favorite. You kind of have to. Like Tony Pollard actually looks very good this week. I'm not going to tell you if there's anyone I like at the lower tier. And by lower tier, we'll say sub 6K. I want to see if you can unearth anything here.
Not really. Let's see. What the hell? No, not really. I was looking at Nick Chubb, but no. Yeah, I mean, I say this every week. I don't think, unless I'm missing someone, I don't think that I'll be going pay down running back.
Okay. And by the way, people in chat mentioned it.
What,
Yeah.
Tracy?
Well, no, I should have mentioned Chuba Hubbard. Yeah. In that game, like Saints are huge favorites, but Chuba Hubbard coming off a rough game in a tough matchup, assuming Jonathan Brooks remains out, he might not even need to. I don't know why they would rush him back with any real volume. Chuba Hubbard's definitely in play this week at home against that terrible Saints defense.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
All right. Tracy. So I hammered every over for Tracy. I should have laddered him yesterday. Do you know what I got his rushing yards prop at? I want you to just take a guess.
31.
22.5.
Yeah.
I mean, is that nuts?
I mean,
I'm not just Monday morning quarterbacking it. I'm saying like clearly Brian Dable likes this guy.
Yeah. It's just one thing we didn't see last night really was Danny Dimes do much of anything on the ground.
Steelers have allowed 0 rushing upside to quarterbacks this year. 0.
Well, it continued yesterday.
Yep. Coming into that game, 50 rushing yards allowed by Pittsburgh to opposing quarterbacks on the season. Pretty crazy. Tracy, I think, has a concussion. He'd be fine against Washington, but that Washington defense is really standing up lately. I'm a little bit nervous to target them. You don't seem to believe that. You seem to think that they're still very exploitable.
Yeah, Washington's no good.
You still think so?
I really do. And again, like, is Washington a good team? They seem to be pretty good. I don't think they're anything special, though, being completely honest. And I hope I'm wrong. I would love to see. I like this team a lot, but like they just should have lost to the Bears at home. I don't know if that's really what gets me going.
That is true, but not because of their defense.
No, but I thought the Bears user error was more than like I watched that game. I wasn't like, wow, this
for
defense.
sure.
I was just like, what are the Bears doing?
For sure. And Swift did rack up the rushing yards.
He's gutting them.
Swift was, I like Tyrone Tracy. That run he had down the sideline where he broke to the sideline, that touchdown run. If he plays, I have no problem with Tracy this week. He's the clear number one.
By default, there is no one sub 6 that I like. So if I have to pick someone, it's just going to be him.
There are 2 guys that I think are okay.
Who?
Chase Brown against Vegas.
Me.
I mean, he's the guy that they want to. He should probably be like 55 here. What about Alexander Madison? Before you just totally write it off, because I know he's not an exciting play at all. Consider that he's clearly taken over that backfield, and Cincinnati's defense is not good.
If Alexander Madison had 90 carries last week, he wouldn't have hit the 100-yard bonus. If you look at his yards per carry, so that's not a good sign.
No, but it was against the Chiefs too.
I don't care. You should never have 14 carries for 15 yards. That's
he had
just
23
stupid.
carries the game before, 92 yards. I'm saying if this ends up being a competitive game, Zamir White played 2 snaps last game. Like Madison's just playing a ton. That's all I'm saying.
If you're in a jam, that's probably where you're gonna have to look, but I don't feel good about that at all.
Well, you have to pick someone down here. I'm gonna go Tracy, assuming he plays, but you have to pick somebody.
Fine,
I ran Tracy, Jordan.
I'll go Madison.
Okay.
I mean, I have no choice. I'll be clear. I don't think you should build like that.
I'm not saying you should, but you know how we do the show.
Of course. Value will open up. Someone will get hurt.